Hi, I'm David.Rosen, and today on New Yorkers Know, we're taking a trip to one of the most significant neighborhoods in Manhattan, Greenwich Village. Greenwich Village is a musical, cultural, and culinary destination, all packed into city blocks that are too hip to even follow the grid. Let's check it out. Located at 115 McDougal Street, in the heart of Greenwich Village happenings, right next to the Comedy Cellar and Cafe Reggio, sits Cafe Wah, a landmark music club that hosted legends before they were legends. First opening in 1959 under the ownership of Manny Roth, uncle of Van Halen's David Lee Roth, Cafe Wah was built in the basement out of a former horse stable and transformed into a popular, dimly lit, smoky coffee house. Many future music and comedy stars made their debut on this Greenwich Village stage. None more notable than the 1961 premiere of Bob Dylan, covering Woody Guthrie on an open mic night. Now, Manny Roth would later go on to fire Bob Dylan after he was late for his performances one too many times. It's rumored that years later, Roth was overheard saying, "I threw it all away." But you know what? A hard rain's gonna fall. Other incredible alumni of Cafe Wah, a then unknown Bruce Springsteen, as well as appearances from the Blue Flames, led by a charismatic frontman going by the name of Jimmy James. He'd later change it to Jimi Hendrix, Joan Rivers, Richard Pryor, Lenny Bruce, all made appearances early in their career, eager to make an impression and get a little stage time. Now, for a little Wah You Talking About trivia. Cafe Wah had some famous cafe company in Greenwich Village, most notably featured inside the Coen Brothers film, Inside Llewyn Davis. New Yorkers know which folk club landmark located across the street at 116 McDougal closed in 1971. Stay tuned to the end for the answer. One block over from Cafe Wah and steps away from the West 4th Street basketball court and train station sits the IFC Center, an indie movie theater that showcases world premieres and cult classics alike. Originally opening in 2005, the IFC Center houses 5 separate movie theaters with a focus on independent, foreign, documentary, and beloved classic films, many even shown in their original 35mm format. Their commitment to movie releases large and small means that independent or low-profile films without the studio budget for a nationwide release can find their home in a traditional, popcorn-filled theater, and maybe even find a much larger fan base. But the IFC, located here on 6th Avenue, also took over a legendary lease when they opened 15 years ago. This building was originally built in the 1800s. It operated as a church here in this neighborhood until the 1930s, when it transformed into the Waverly Theater. In 1976, the Waverly hosted their first midnight screening of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was there that a repeat attendee in the audience initiated the first callback by yelling at the screen. But the idea quickly caught on, and the cult following behind the Rocky Horror Picture Show would return to the Waverly week after week for the next 2 years to hone and develop the now worldwide scripted audience participation that still lives on to this day. I mean, yelling at anything, even a movie screen, is a very New York tradition that we take very seriously. Oh, there's one more thing I want to show you, passed every day by hundreds of thousands of unsuspecting New Yorkers and tourists alike. These 2 peepholes let you see right into the ground level theater of the IFC Center. Time for trivia question number 2. New Yorkers know what Rocky Horror Picture Show star was born in New York City, went to Los Angeles, returning later to the city to open a ping-pong-themed bar. Take a trip around the corner from IFC, and you'll find yourself asking, how can you not love cheese? That's a question that Murray's has been asking Greenwich Village residents since it was first opened by Murray Greenberg 7 decades ago. With over 250 rotating cheeses in their flagship store, Murray's offers a selection that spans several different countries, as well as a micro-focus on locally sourced offerings. While it's always been housed on Bleecker Street, they crossed the block into a larger location that could house, well, more cheese. Caves of cheese, in fact. Kaufelt installed 5 state-of-the-art small caves in the cellar of the store so that Murray's could personally oversee the aging of their stock. But they didn't stop there. A few years later, Murray's opened up a production facility in Long Island City, and that now houses an additional 13 cheese aging caves, each one precisely tuned so that the temperature and humidity allow the individual cheeses to mature. Because, the Goudas can really get a little fussy in their adolescence. So here's your third and final trivia question of the day. They say New York can be an acquired taste, but New Yorkers know what type of cheese made in the state gets its own label as being New York Sharp. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of New Yorkers Know about Greenwich Village. Now keep watching to the end for the answers to all of today's trivia questions. Question number 1. Across the street from Cafe Wah sat another legendary folk music club that closed down in the early 70s. Coen Brothers fans and New Yorkers know that it was the Gaslight Cafe. By the way, do you think Llewyn David ever found Garfine's cat? Question number 2. This NYC-born actor made a breakthrough appearing in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but more recently has taken up a ping-pong-themed bar here in the city. New Yorkers know that it's Susan Sarandon. Of course it's Susan Sarandon. You didn't know that? She talks about it all the time. Last question here, and I'm not taking it personally, but there's a type of cheese made here in the state that has such a bite that it must be called New York Sharp. New Yorkers know that it is, of course, cheddar cheese. And also, my new boxing name. All right, one bonus trivia question. What does the average 2-bed apartment sell for here in Greenwich Village? Come on, you know I've got the answer. Give me a call and I'll help you find your place among the Greenwich Village people. Thank you for watching and see you next time on New Yorkers Know.